Hello, fellow entrepreneurs. There's a phenomenon that I'm watching happen in the market right now. I wanted to speak up and share this briefly because it might help you in where you are headed with your very own business through this pandemic. First of all, I'm guessing you already know that I own two companies. One's called Great Assistant. We help entrepreneurs to get an executive assistant that's coming out of North America and wants to work in a business, in a small business, so they can work from home. And the other business I have is Profit Factory, which helps entrepreneurs to gain CEO skills, learn to run their business by the numbers, and make executive level decisions. And so it's been interesting watching the market play out here because my initial forecast was actually that Great Assistant was going to see a dip in sales, and a significant and possibly even a prolonged dip in sales, prolonged meaning like a couple months. And my thinking was that, and I thought a lot about this. Like I spent days and days and days thinking about this and journaling and meditating and thinking and trying to get numbers and facts and figures around the situation. And my conclusion, which has since proven to be so far wrong, you'll hear this is a very good conclusion to be wrong about, was that generally speaking, the market is, and specifically entrepreneurs, are actually contracting the volume of staff they have hired. There's layoffs happening, there's rollbacks in hours happening, there's employees being temporarily furloughed, and it's generally a climate of contraction. And fundamentally, when people go to hire an assistant, they're looking to expand capacity, add more teammates, add more hours, because their business is growing, right? So when I looked at the situation through that lens, I really felt like I'd hit the kind of that thud, like you're kind of searching for, how do I view this situation? How do I view this situation? And then you hit something that's like thud, like, that's it. And my view was that because there's contraction happening, like few people are going to want an executive assistant. So that was my conclusion. And so far we saw a brief dip in sales. I think that very first week was a shock to most small business owners, and we did see a dip for about a week and a half maybe. And since then, so in the last, let's say 2.5, 3 weeks, we've actually gone right back to normal sales levels, and we've got the chance to actually be ahead of pace on some sales, depending on what happens this week. This week's been a strong week so far, and it looks like we may actually be ahead of target for this week, like COVID-19 or not. So my new thinking around this and what I'm seeing happen is what I would characterize as like a polarization. And what I mean by that is there's like this spectrum of clients or potential clients for Great Assistant. And I'll talk about Profit Factory in a minute, but let's talk about Great Assistant. And it's kind of like on these shades of gray, that anybody that was kind of like on the fence, maybe slightly less likely to buy from us because their business was maybe on the bubble of maybe being ready for an assistant. The businesses like that, are being pushed to a hard no, that they're not going to hire us because their businesses might be in that contraction category. That's really kind of, and actually, let me say this differently. No, it's not by business. No, I'm sorry. Let me say this differently. So whether a business was warm, lukewarm, cool, or cold to hire us is completely irrelevant. What I mean to say is, irrespective of where a business was on that spectrum, there's a new polarization that's happening, and it's based on business category, right? So there's some categories of clients that are buying, and those that were kind of on the fence before are now absolutely buying because their business is growing in a moment like this, right? So you think about businesses related to mental health, businesses related to online advice, anything that's consistent with the wave of what's happening. And in a sense, this isn't a surprise that we're getting more clients from there, but I just didn't think it would be with that much intensity. So what we're seeing is entrepreneurs that are in a favorable position from what's happened with COVID are absolutely being pushed towards buying and booking calls with us. And those that are in industries that are not doing well in COVID are absolutely shrinking away. So it's kind of like, whereas there's kind of like a little bit of this jockeying in the middle, now it's like this polarity of like buying from us and buying really quickly, or not buying at all and totally going in the sidelines. So I think that this is a really valuable insight, and I almost feel a little bit embarrassed that I didn't catch this sooner. Is that there really is no such thing as like the market average, if you will. Like when you take all businesses and put them together, yes, it's going to mathematically create an average middle point, whether it's mean, median, or mode. However, when you drill down into each individual business that makes up the whole, you realize that a business, like there is basically no business out there that is the average, right? So from that view, what I'm now updating my forecast or my view to is around the idea of polarity and being open to the possibility here that there's going to be certain categories of clients that are really going to excel, and for us to be ready to serve them in one way. And I think this is a really key point. They're ready for an assistant, and so let's make sure that we serve them as quickly as possible. And then there's going to be categories that are hard no, and we got to serve them in a different way, maybe with free information, perhaps with our other offerings from Profit Factory. So I think that, anytime we're analyzing a large data set, it's important to understand that we got to unpack it into smaller pieces to start getting a more accurate view of what really is going on, and therefore what we can expect moving forward. And along with that, I guess I should also comment on the Profit Factory side. Is inside of Profit Factory, we're offering a good deal of education. In fact, I'm doing a talk called Know Your Numbers. I'm doing a talk called Navigate the Cash Crunch, which is a simple 3-step plan helping entrepreneurs to create their very own clarity and cash roadmap, helping them to see their very own customized plan of how they can make it through to the other side and not just survive but thrive. So I'm doing that talk, and like the interest in this talk is just absolutely astronomical. I think I've given the talk now 15 times in the last 2 weeks. Like, it's absolutely wild. And in the coming 2 to 3 weeks, I'm booked at least 3 times a week for the next 2 to 3 weeks to give this talk. And I'm like barely contacting people to request stages or anything. Like, it's really just this huge influx. And so I think maybe a macro lesson in all of this is just how crucially important it is to pay attention to the overall trends and the overall movement of the economy and what's selling and what is not. So what I mean by that is years and years and years ago, I read a book called Ant and the Elephant, and it was actually a personal development book. It's talking about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and how, in our conscious mind, we might say, I really want to be successful. I really want to make a good deal of money. I want to be respected. All of these, goals that our conscious mind might say that we have. Subconsciously, though, if we believe that we're a loser, only crooks are rich people, and I'm never really going to amount to anything. If that's my subconscious, it does not matter what my conscious has to say. My subconscious will rule the day, and soon, So it's like an ant. The conscious is on the subconscious's back of an elephant. And even if that, conscious mind wants to go 10 feet this way, if the elephant's moving 10 feet the other way, that ant is going the other way because it's riding on this massive elephant. And I think that that's exactly true when it comes to taking a look at how do we position our businesses. So in many of my kind of conversations with mentors and peers in the past few weeks, in the past month really, we've been working hard to identify what are those major themes that are dictating, what is the tide that's going up or down, that's rising or lowering all ships. And so certainly themes like work from home, fitness from home, diet, nutrition, supplements, anything to do with mental health, all of that is with the wave, right? And if you can get on top of that, you can ride the wave, right? Ride the wave instead of being crushed by it. And then obviously areas like travel, hospitality, transportation, hospitality meaning bars and restaurants, nightclubs, lounges, concert venues, live events, live entertainment, all of that is obviously getting crushed by the wave, right? And so to have a keen sense of what's happening at the macro level, or which actually maybe counterintuitively is at the foundational level, really rising. I mean, that is what we're all riding. So, and I'm watching this play out. And I'm not ready to obviously declare any measure of victory. Like, goodness gracious, it is still such early days in this whole COVID situation. Is noticing that in Great Assistant we've got business flowing in from the businesses that are doing well, because when you unpack the situation, that's what's there. And then obviously know your numbers, helping people to navigate the cash crunch, understanding their financials, understand what's going on, is also very, very, very hot for the market. And so that's what's carrying the day for us. I think that another trend or major factor that's going to start happening here, and it's starting to happen like today, is entrepreneurs starting to get checks from the government for some of the stimulus programs. And so because that is coming into play, we're going to now see some money entering the market again, and that's going to stimulate a lot of small business. And so if you serve small businesses, you can be in a position to be able to serve your fellow small business owner now that they're unlocked. Now, obviously, the money is intended to go to things like wages and rent and whatnot, not like some extraordinary new mastermind or something, or some very, very high paid expensive consultant. I'm very curious to see what happens in the coming, say, 3-4 weeks as that money gets rolled out and we start seeing things unlock again. I don't have any prediction on that, but I think that's going to be a major force, because it's literally billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, rolling into the economy, and seeing what the impact is for us small business owners, not just to stay alive, but to thrive and to get back to work. It's going to be, that's a massive shift when that much money exchanges hands. Please subscribe to what I'm sharing here. Please share this message if you find it to be helpful. As I'm coming across insights, I'm sharing them. And then obviously I've been doing my 12-part series, Navigate the Cash Crunch. So hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.